The Blue Jackets won a game. They have a 3-game point streak going, and today we're going to talk about that. We're going to see if they can keep it up against Vancouver. That's what coming up today on Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And for once, we're not going to be talking a whole lot about that last one here on Locked On Blue Jackets, about your favourite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and also over on YouTube. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please feel free to do so. It helps me out, it helps you out. You get notified when every episode goes live. Everyone wins, including the Blue Jackets. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. I also want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. Make every moment more. And visit fanduel.com/lockedon today to get started. So we got to talk about that win because I'm not going to lie, unexpected in many different ways. I want to talk a little bit about Kent Johnson and the youth movement. Kent Johnson with that overtime goal. He just loves to score overtime game-winning goals in Rogers Place in Edmonton. I guess his last goal there was the gold medal winning goal in the World Juniors in August, the rescheduled one. So clearly he loves a big stage like that. Really great to see him score a goal. It's been a minute. He had an assist on Kirill Marchenko's goal as well, and he's up to 23 points on the season, which you love to see it. I'm just going to check what the rookie scoring record is. I don't think he'll break it, but it's worth looking at. The rookie goal record is 20, which, I mean, Kirill Marchenko could hit that, frankly. He's played 25 games, he's got 11 goals, they've got 30-something games left. Like, if he scores a goal every 3 games, then he's there, which is extremely, extremely fun. The rookie record is 48 points, set by Pierre-Luc Dubois. So Ken Johnson, I don't think is on pace for that, but I think he might get close. He's currently on pace for 41 points. If he plays every game, knock on wood, for the rest of the season, he's on pace for 16 goals, 25 assists for 41 points, which would put him third, just above Rick Nash for most rookie points, which, I mean, will he win the Calder? Probably not, but I think it's definitely, his rookie season has definitely been a huge success. Same for Kirill Marchenko. He had to wait a little bit to get his chance. I do wonder what it would look like had Marchenko been in the lineup from the beginning, but, I mean, if wishes were fishes, etc., I don't know where I was going with that, but my point is, Marchenko, Johnson, the future is looking real bright, and they're even getting enough ice time as well. If we look at the ice time, I know this because I looked it up at the end of the game. Marchenko got 16 minutes, Johnson got 16:28. So, you know, it's amazing what happens if you give your best player, your good players, more ice. I will say, Gus Nyquist only played 3:33. He left in the first period due to an injury. Foodie only played 7:42, and Mathieu Olivier only played 8:51. He's really been in the doghouse recently, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's that he keeps getting in fights, and obviously he's missing time for that, but obviously he missed a bunch of the Sharks game, missed a bunch of the Flames game because he was just sitting on the bench, and it looks like he spent a bunch of time on the bench for this game as well. Let's see if I can find out when his last shift was. But I feel bad, kind of, for Olivier, but honestly, I think this is the right move. I think he's more effective the less he plays. This has kind of been my argument all along, but it's reassuring to see. Mathieu Olivier, his last shift was just after the first goal. Or the first Edmonton goal, excuse me. He had one more shift after that. So, after the third period, he didn't play very much at all. No penalty kill, no power play. He's really in the bad books at the minute, which is I'm okay with it. Frankly, I think I would rather his ice time go to someone like Marchenko, who's scoring, someone like Johnson, who's continuing to grow and grow. It's great to see Cole Sillinger getting both some power play time and almost 16 minutes of ice time. Hopefully he can really get his season back on track soon. It's been a fun couple of games. I want to talk a little bit more about special teams in just a second, but first I've got to tell you about our new sponsor, which we are super, super excited about, and that's FanDuel. We're really excited about them because they're the number one sportsbook in America, and if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. You have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy, and you can join today to get started with $150 in guaranteed free bets when you place your first $5 bet. That is $150 for you when you give them $5. Like, that's a really, really good deal. All you have to do is sign up at fanduel.com/lockedon and put some money on the Blue Jackets taking it to the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Blue Jackets riding high, 3-game point streak, 2 wins and an overtime loss. They feel like the favorites against a Vancouver team that is struggling at the minute, and it's all on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. So don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets at fanduel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So special teams was good. I say special teams was good. The Oilers scored on the only power play opportunity that they had, which, if you're gonna let the top power play, do stuff, then you get what you deserve, you know? They held Connor McDavid to 1 point all night, which I think is pretty good. They held Leon Draisaitl to 0 points, but that one power play goal from Zach Hyman, that made it 2-1 to the Oilers. The Blue Jackets got it back, but honestly, good work in terms of discipline. Edmonton took 2 minor penalties. The Blue Jackets didn't score on either of them. The Blue Jackets only took 1 minor penalty. So I guess when I say special teams were good, I mean the opposite of that. Special teams were bad. The penalty kill was 0 for 1, and the power play was 0 for 2. But holding the Oilers to 1 penalty, I think, is definitely a good thing. It's a good sign. Blue Jackets, the officiating was a mess in the Flames game, so I'm glad that either it got figured out or the Blue Jackets were just a little bit more disciplined. Both things can be true, and I think limiting the ice time of players that typically take more penalties than others. Definitely helps. Although I know Sean Corrali, I believe, is still leading the team in penalty minutes. He played 15 minutes, but again, didn't take a penalty in this game, so we'll allow it. Something that the Blue Jackets really need to figure out is face-offs. They got out face-offed by literally everyone. Jack Roslovic led the way with face-offs with 56%, Boone Jenner at 46%, Cole Sillinger at 43%, and Sean Corrali at 33%. On the other side of things, Derek Ryan went 67% in face-offs. Draisaitl went 63%. McDavid did not have a good night in the dot. He went 33%. Nugent Hopkins went 63%, and Ryan McLeod went 58%, and then Matthias Janmark went 50%. So they had a lot more guys taking face-offs than the Blue Jackets, but Leon Draisaitl and Derek Ryan really, and Ryan Nugent Hopkins, really doing the heavy lifting there. A poor night for McDavid. Frankly, it was kind of a poor night for McDavid overall. His only assist came on the power play. He had 3 shots on goal, 2 hits, 4 giveaways, and he only played 41 seconds on the power play. Very bizarre. Very weird. Just a very off night for McDavid in general, which I'm not going to complain. It happened. I'm glad that if it's going to happen, I'm glad it happened to us, because I feel like McDavid Connor McDavid on his best day is the best player in this league by a very wide margin, and I'm glad that they only held him to 1 point. The Oilers are a good team. I was not expecting this result at all. Obviously, I'm thrilled, super excited. Great to see Laine get an assist. Great to see Marchenko scoring. 11 goals, 0 assists now, by the way, which is hilarious. I need to look into what the record is for most goals in a season without getting an assist, because I think it's going to be friggin' hilarious. Again, Ken Johnson, the MVP of the game for me, assisted on the game-tying goal and then scored the game-winning goal. Just, again, you really love to see it. Someone I didn't mention as well, Adam Boqvist, got his 8th point of the season, which I believe all of those are since returning from a broken foot. So he's actually got nine points on the year, and they are, yes, they are all since December 31st. He has scored in every game. He's not scored, but he's got an assist in every game since his return, except for 4 of them, which one of them was a shutout. So technically no one scored in that one, but again, really great to see him kind of bringing that offensive side of his game. He had 2 assists last night, Wednesday night, and only played 12:40, which was the lowest of any defenseman by a big margin. So maybe a little concerning, but great to see him finding his way offensively, and hopefully that translates to some goals. I think if he can really get the power play going, I think that's going to be a huge help. And overall, really happy with that game. Really happy with that game. We're going to talk about the Canucks in a minute, because that is what is next up for the Blue Jackets, and the Canucks are kind of in a similar boat to the Blue Jackets, except somehow worse. So we'll talk about that in a minute here on Locked on Blue Jackets. So, Canucks, they are 19, 26, and 3 on the season. They are 2-8 in their last 10. They won their first game under their new head coach, which that was a whole mess. I'm not going to get into the Bruce Boudreau of it all, but man, what a mess. I know that I've had my complaints about Brad Larson this season, and about the general coaching of the team and the management decisions that have been made, but my God, I am glad that we are not Vancouver, because it sounds like it's just a nightmare over there. So, it could always be worse, Blue Jackets fans. You could be a Canucks fan. Quinn Hughes has 5 points in his last 5 games. 4 of those are assists. Andrei Kuzmenko, who just signed a big extension, which again sure was a choice, has 4 goals in his last 5 games. Something interesting to note is that their penalty kill is the worst in the league. The Blue Jackets are still sitting at 31st on the power play, so is this maybe a chance for the Blue Jackets to improve on their power play, to get that power play going? Who knows? Patrik Laine has 7 points in his last 5 games. Boone has 3 goals. Gaudreau has 5 assists. Like, the top line is rolling. The stars are scoring. It's what you want to see. And the goaltending as well. Jonas Korpisalo has improved to 8-8-2 on the year. He's at a 9-10 save percentage. I assume Merzlikins will be starting this game because they play Seattle tomorrow. So, who knows? I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting big things from Kent Johnson, specifically. He had 2 points on the night against Edmonton. He's playing in his hometown. I believe this is his first game in Vancouver as a Blue Jacket, so big night for him, expecting big things. I might have him as my pick to open the scoring, but it feels like it might be a high-scoring affair because the Blue Jackets are 30th in the league in goals against per game, and the Canucks are 31st. So, again, I feel like I've guessed this for the last 3 games in a row, but it feels like it's going to be like a 5-4 final. Which way? Who's to say? The Blue Jackets got their first win of the season against the Canucks way back in October after going down 2-1. After going down 2-0, going back up to tie the game and then going down again 3-2 before Gaudreau tied the game, and then Vladislav Gavrikov scored his first of the season to win it in overtime. Will it go to overtime for a 3rd game in a row? There's just no way to know, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's like a 5-4 overtime win for the Blue Jackets. I think I'm going to pick the Blue Jackets. I think the Canucks are reeling at the minute. They don't know whether they're coming or going. The new coach bump hasn't kicked in yet, if it ever will. So my money is on the Blue Jackets and on Kent Johnson scoring the first goal of the game, or at least the first goal of the game for the Blue Jackets. So that's kind of all I've got for you today. Tomorrow we will have a show. We will be talking about tonight's game. Hopefully it's a good one. There's no way to know, but we'll be breaking down tonight's game. We'll be looking ahead to the game against Seattle. That's coming up tomorrow. I have been Jay Foster here on Locked On Blue Jackets. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the podcast at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. And until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.